Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is all things Thursday and well, we have all the things going on today. We don't have any Happy Mail, which is perfectly fine. It's a no buy July, so I have not purchased anything, so therefore nothing has come in. But I have had requests to take a look around my coloring corner and to go through my colored pencils. So, what we're going to be doing today, we are using the external microphone, so hopefully the sound isn't absolutely horrible. I'm not using my headset mic, so it will be a little bit echoey and it may seem a little bit off to everybody. But what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the main camera and I'm going to walk you through the coloring corner and then we'll get you set up onto a larger surface so that we can go through each of the sets of colored pencils in my collection. This is going to be a couple of different part series. I definitely will not be able to get through all of my supplies in one go. So stay tuned for that. And I will continue with that on another day after we see how far we get today. Okay guys, so I'm going to put you on a really quick little mute session where I'm going to transfer you to the other corner, the other camera, which is in my kitchen corner, looking down at my countertop. I have a tablecloth over the countertop so it doesn't reflect the light into the camera, so you guys aren't all blinded by that. But after that, you're going to have some movement. So please excuse the movement because I am going to move the camera around so that you guys can see different parts of the corner. All right, guys, hopefully this won't look absolutely horrible and choppy to everybody, but we will see how that goes. Okay, so I'm just going to move a couple of things here so I can actually see what's going on too. And then we're going to switch you on over to the main camera. All right, guys, thank you so much for being patient and, waiting for this to get all set up. I will be right with you on the other camera. Hello, everyone. Okay, so this is going to be a little echoey for a little while I go through and move the camera and wander around. As you can see, you are looking directly down on my kitchen counter, which is not what I want you to see. So I'm just going to set things up here for you. Move away from my desk. I'll put my coffee on the counter because I'm going to need that. All right, so please forgive the movements. You're going to move around off of the counter and up. Oh, and then you're upside down. Haha, there you go. All right, so over here, there we have my desk and of course the TV and the computer. And that's where I do all the magic. I do all the magic here. And all the other magic stays over there. And then of course I've got my inks and my printer and my pastels in the drawers there. And some markers, my stickles and liquid pearls, some more markers, some tools, and of course I have this big set of drawers full of all different goodies. One drawer has watercolors in it, one drawer has acrylic stuff in it, one drawer has markers in it. There's all sorts of cool stuff in there. Over here on the bottom shelf, we have some gel pens, we have some markers, we have some pastels, we have extra packages of colored pencils that don't have a home yet. We got some inks, all sorts of stuff. A spare pad for my desk, And then we move up to the first layer of colored pencils, starting with A all the way down to B. And then up here we have C all the way to L. And then up there we have all the way up to Z. And we'll be looking at those in a little bit here. Above that we have the coloring books. And above that, up on that very, very top bit there, I know you're all wobbling around, we have some 3D prints that my husband has made me, a wonderful picture that somebody painted for me on my birthday card, and a Grimm Fairy Tales coloring poster book, which we will look at during the flip through of all the stuff in my coloring corner, as well as the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And that's the first shelving unit in my coloring corner. The next one's not so tall. This one here, I've got some markers, and I've got some washi tape, and some more markers, and my cookbooks, colored coloring books, the 3D printed stuff for the store, and some more coloring books. My corner is getting larger. Okay, so I'm going to flip you over one more time, and we're going to go through and we're going to look at the stuff in, oh, that's another thing. I've also got those which have different colored pencils and stuff like that in it. So enjoy the view of that lamp. Not. There you go. All right, so I'm just going to move you into the area there so you guys can see something other than my trash cans. Like I said, this is my kitchen counter. Right next to it I have my trash cans and that sort of thing. So I'm going to start moving a few of these colored pencil bags over, and we're going to go through them. So this should be fun. So I'm going to move a few at a time because, as you saw, I have quite a few. And that's just the bags. So we'll do one shelving unit, one shelf at a time. Just because it's just easier that way. All right. So in this shelving unit, in the very first shelf of colored pencils, we have the A's up to a bit of the C's. So the first one we have here is Arteza, Artlicious, and Art and Fly. And each of these bags holds 300 pencils, so I've got some missing there because it didn't fill the whole bag. These ones here are Ann Shen's Metallics. And then I have the Art and Fly into the Arteza, or Arteza, whichever you want to call it. More Arteza, more Arteza, more Arteza. And then the Artlicious. The Artlicious are luscious. These are a really, really nice soft wax-based pencil. So that is the Arteza, Artlicious, and Art and Fly bag. Now these bags are very convenient to hold a large amount of pencils. However, making sure that everything is tucked in can become a little bit cumbersome. But they do hold lots of pencils, and I have figured out the best way to use them, which is great. So they work well for me. So that's the Art and Fly and Artlicious. This one here is got my Fila's in it as well, which was only because I ran out of room in the F package. So we have our art track. So over on this side over here is all of our art track colored pencils, starting down here. Now, if you have these bags and you notice this bottom layer is really hard to get to, there is a trick to it. I'm going to show you what I do to eliminate that. So you take the edge of your bag right here and over here, and you push up that cardboard section in the corners like so. And then that whole thing just tucks right under, and you can get to that first layer of your pencils. So there's the first layer of the art track, and then the second layer, and then third layer, and then the fourth layer, and then half of this layer is art track as well. And then we have the ending bits of the Fila, and into more Fila, into more Fila, and then the first part of the Filas. Again, you can do the same thing on this side. Tuck this under. It gives you the ability to reach all of the pencils in that part of the case. Now, in order to untuck it, because you're going to look at it and go, okay, now how do I fix that? And it doesn't damage the bag. It just looks a little funny. Okay, so you put all your pencils back up there. And then you take the bag and you just push it down. And take the bag and push it down. And then do the same thing on this side and just push it down. And it pushes it all back into place so you can put your other pencils in and zip it up. And it makes getting into those bottom trays so much easier. Okay, so that's the art track and the Fila. Although Fila is not really a thing, but I ran out of room in the F ones. Now this one's a big one. Let's put these over here. Boy, all this lifting. Not used to all this exercise, guys. Used to coloring. Come on. All right, so this one here is my Brute Pruner squares, my original Brute Pruner 168, as well as the 144 Black Widows are all in this bag. This bag is huge. It is really tall. But it works the same way as all the other bags. It just holds a lot more. So it opens up like this. And of course, we have, let's see. Let's start at the very front here. And like I said, you do the same thing with this as you would do with the other ones. You put your pencils up there, your sleeves up there, and you just tip it in and push it up. Tip it in and push it up. Like that. And then you can get to all of the pencils in that part of the bag. So we've got the square Brute Pruners. Going into more square Brute Pruners. And then we have the start of the 168. And we're going backwards here. So where the Brute Pruners and the square Brute Pruners end, the original Brute Pruners end as well. And more of the original Brute Pruners. And as you can see, I do use them. I don't use as many browns as I thought I would, but I do use them. I do use quite a few of them. Now these do have a thinner core than the original or than the newer Brute Funers. They're way thinner core than the Brute Funer squares. And then the start of the Brute Funers. Now I don't know why I started them there, but probably because I ended these there. So, and then we have and once again, just doing the same thing, pulling it under so that I can get to those pencils that are in here, in this part. So we have the start of the Black Widows, and I have them in color family order. They're difficult to find in this order. Well, not in this order, but in most bags because of the way that they're labeled. It gets a little difficult to see things. Some are really great, like the eggshell, Merc, carrot, sherbet, and that sort of thing, with the names below there. But then we have the ones like the scorpions, where the name is right in the center. So it gets a little difficult. So you have to look for this number on those ones. But the number sticks out down below, so it's not too bad. All right, so then we have the Black Widows. We have more Black Widows. And I just love the colors against the black. It just looks really cool. And then more Black Widows. And some more Black Widows. And I probably could have moved these all the way to the end and not used up that little bit on the end of the other ones. So I must have gone through this backwards, which is possible. I probably started off. Yeah, I started off here because that's the lights. So I went through this backwards and didn't realize and didn't count properly that there would be enough room here for the other areas to be separated a little bit more. Okay, so that's the Brute Funer and Black Widow bag. Once again, just flip it under. It's usually easier to do this with the trays moved to the side or up to the front. But I'm being silly, so you just take this and you just push it up, and it's all there. And it does nothing to the bag. It doesn't hurt the bag. It doesn't tear the bag. You know, the first couple of times I did it, I went, ugh. But when you have a bag of this size, in order to get to all your pencils, especially the ones up against this front and back, it gets a little cumbersome, a little bit annoying. Now, next, we have these two lovelies. And these two lovelies, as you may be aware, are the Brute Funer 520s. So let's see if I have them in order here. So that's number 1 and that's number 2. So I'm going to open both of these at the same time because they're a set. They go together. So this is the entire 520 Brute Funer set in color order, done by Bruno Art Studios, following his swatch. So it starts here with the whites into the yellows and creams into the pinks, into the browns, into the greens. Just love some of these greens. And some of the pinky browns are so nice. Lots of greens into some aquatics and some pale greens and some moss greens and some into the blues. and then finishing off here with the blues. So that's the first set. And then on this one here, we start off with the blues and go into some of the pinks and reds, and from the reds into the oranges, into the purples, and purples and more purples, lots and lots of purples, and then some more purples and some more dark blues into our grays. And this set has a wonderful, wonderful selection of grays. And then we go into our metallics, and then into our neons, our fluorescent kind of colors. So that is the 520 set of pruners. And once again, you can do the same thing with these. Just flip the end up and off you go. Just going to close this up and put it aside. And then we got one more on this shelf to do. And hopefully you guys can all hear me just fine. And it's not too echoey or nasty. Probably can hear every little sound. I should actually turn that monitor sound down, but oh well. You guys get to hear everything, including the zipper and me panting because, yeah, I'm not used to this much exercise. Okay, so this one here is the Blix Castle Arts and Cool Bank. Now this is the small set of the Cool Bank. I do not have the large set of the Cool Bank out because I didn't like them. And they are currently in a box waiting for my countertop to become a thing. So let's start over on this end. This is the Blix Studios. So it starts here and it goes from the whites to the yellows. Let's see, make sure that you guys are able to see. Into the oranges, the reds, some light skin tones, into some purples and peachy colors, from purple into blue, and then down into green, into brown, from brown into gray, black, silver, and gold. So that is the Blix Studios. Now this one here, starting here, is the end of the Cool Bank. When I got the Cool Bank was very, very new, and they had no names or numbers on their pencils. So all of the numbers are written on by hand, so that I know what number is what and where what is. So we start off here in our blacks and grays, into the browns, into the blues, into the purples, into the greens, from greens into the reds, into the pinks, into the oranges, the peachy colors, and then into the whites and yellows. This white should be here. And then we have our Castle Arts. And I think my Castle Arts are all over the place or something. I'm not sure. I may have moved things around in them. But the Castle Arts are a numbered pencil. Now they have names and numbers on them, but when I bought them, they only have the number. So it has Castle Art Supplies, Soft Series, and then the number on the back. So I've got it going from the yellows into the oranges and reds, into the pinky purples and pinks, into blues, into aquatic colors and greens, and then it goes into your browns. So I have it in numerical order, which I should go through and rearrange it. And when I do the swatches for this one, I probably will, because it's definitely not in color family order with their numeric order. But then we go into our pinks and some more purples, into our some more blues, into our aquatic greens and some more of the olive greens, into some browns and grays. And that's it. Yeah, so into our grays and browns, and that our black and our white are way up here. And so a few of our grays are interspersed throughout. So like I said, I have these in 120 color or number order because there is no number names or anything like that. And when I do re-swatch them, I will probably go through and rearrange them into color family order. I know I've got a couple of different swatches from the new set, so I think they're more in a color family order in the new set. So I don't know if they'll match up, but we'll see. And I'll go through and I'll rearrange it now that I know how to. This is one of the first sets that I ever started off with wax, was the Castle Art. And then I went to the Prism Colors and decided that, you know, sometimes I really don't like wax. So I also had the Sharpurer Farben at the time. So I was really a bit of a snob for oil pencils. So I'm going to put these ones back, and then we'll move on to the next shelf. These get heavy. So I'll put 2 back and bring 2 over. I have quite a few pencils, as you all already know, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm not. And this is just the ones I have in cases. Tomorrow, or the next time, the next video will be the ones that aren't in cases. And other things. Oh, I didn't bring 2. Oh well. I didn't bring 2 with me, so I'll put these ones away and grab the other 5. You guys asked for it. You guys said that you wanted to see all of my pencils. Now I'm a little bit concerned for your intellectual safety here. All right. In my lack of exercise, I didn't realize how heavy these cases can be. All right, so we're going to start with the C's. Again, another 300 slot pencil case. Opens the same way. The last one was a 420 pencil case, so all right. So this set here is it breaks my heart. I don't use this set. I don't know why I have this set in here, other than the fact that the pencils are actually really nice, but they're not what I bought. These are the Norberg and Linden. I have them in the C's because, as far as I'm concerned, they're Cray Arts. And they're nice pencils. They work very, very nice. They have all their names on them and numbers, but they match up perfectly to the Cray Arts. These, however, were sold as the Norberg and Linden 120 set. Norberg and Linden are revamping the 120 set and working on that, but I have not heard back from them on when that will be released or if. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, a Cray Art colored pencil, so that's why it's in the C's. And it starts here with the whites, through the yellows and oranges, into the reds, and they have a beautiful setup on them too. Into the pinks, into the purples, and then down into the blues, and then into our lighter blues, into our greens, and our lighter greens, into our browns, and then into our blacks and grays, silver. Wonderful little setup, and they've got a kneadable eraser and a regular eraser that came with the set. There was also a sharpener, I do believe. And then these ones, these are my Cretacolor Jumbo pencils. These are wonderful. They are so soft and so smooth, but still maintain quite a nice point. These are huge. They are just massive. As you can see, I've only got 2 in each slot that normally holds 3 pencils because they are so big. So I'll pop one out here and show you, in my hand especially. So they don't have any information on how thick that is. However, they do have the name and the number on them. They also have a barcode, so you can scan the barcode and probably find that information. I think these are a 6.5 or 7 millimeter core, and they are lovely. They do hold quite a nice point for quite a while. But they, if you let it go, if you use it while it's dull like this, you can cover a really, really large amount of space very quickly. So we start here with the whites into our yellows, into the oranges and reds, into our pinks and purples, then into the blues, greens, aquatic colors, into our browns, grays, and blacks. And the next ones here are Saison. Saison is a lovely colored pencil. I have had a couple of sets of these. This is, I do believe, the 100 set. And I'm pretty sure, or it's a 72 set, and they have a 100 set out. I might have got the 120. Let's see. No, I didn't, because I've written everything on it. So this is the 72 set. And when I bought them ages and ages ago, they didn't have names or numbers on them. They do now. They do also have a larger set that I have not bought. I have them in my wish list on Blix, but they have not hit the purchase me thing yet because I don't use them enough. I keep on telling myself, when I use up the 72 count that I have, I will get the 120 set. And I haven't used these up yet, have I? So I am trying to maintain control over my collection, is what I'll call it. So we have here from the yellows into the oranges, into the reds, into the pinks and purples, into the blues, into the aquatic green colors, and blue colors into the greens. And then at the end, which has always been a little strange to me, they've got the light yellows and tans and that sort of thing. I used their swatch for my setup, and I should actually go through and revamp it. And then into our browns, our grays, and our black. They are a lovely pencil, and they do lay down quite nicely. But like I said, bigger and better things come along, and things get put aside or forgotten or just not used as much as we would like them to be. So that is my B's going into the C's. And of course, I just adore my Blix and that sort of thing. So that's the first bag of C's. And that has the Cretacolor, what I consider the Cray Arts, and the Saison. And then the next one is this one here. And this one's one of my favorites. This has the Caran d'Ache Pablos, the Derwents, the Deli colored pencils in there. So we have, let's start here. Oh. So we have the Deli. So let's start with the Deli and go into the, well, let's start with the C's going into the D's. So we have the Caran d'Ache Pablos, and they start here, going from our yellows into our oranges, into our reds and red browns, into our browns, oddly enough into the grays, the darker browns and grays, and then some more reds, into our pinks, purples, into our blues, into our blue greens and greens, and more greens down here, as well as more grays, as well as a silver, gold, and white, and copper, as well as a black there. So it's a lovely array of beautiful pencils, and I don't use them nearly enough. I think I've used them 2 or 3 times. Maybe, I think tomorrow for our colorathon, I will use the Caran d'Ache Pablos for that. Just because I haven't used them enough, and they're just beautiful pencils. And I need to use them more. So that's the Caran d'Ache. And then we have our, I do apologize. Just one moment, guys. So sorry about that, guys. Deliveries. And that one's not even a fun one. It's groceries. All right, so we go from our Caran d'Ache into our Derwent. And these are the Derwent Metallics. And they're gorgeous. And of course, I had to have them all because they're gorgeous. And then here I have the Chroma Flow, Chroma Flow, which they only have a small set of the Chroma Flow, but it is also a really lovely, lovely pencil. So then we go from our Chroma Flow into our Color Soft. And I have the full set of the Color Soft. So I have yellows into the oranges, and then into the reds, into the pinks, and then our purples, some more purples, and then into our blues and greens, and then into our browns, and then into our light skin tones, into our darker browns, grays, and black. Wonderful, wonderful set of pencils. Another set that I don't use nearly enough because I'm afraid that I will use them all up and then I won't have them anymore, and they're so pretty. And then we have our Deli colored pencils here, and we're starting at the end. So this is the blacks and grays and browns. And we're going from the browns into the greens and the aquatic blue green colors, into the blues, into the purples, reds, skin tones, light skin tones, peachy colors, into the oranges and a couple of more peachy colors, and then into yellows, whites, and I think this one's in the wrong space, but that's okay, we'll leave it there. And a very creamy peach tone there with the white. The Deli colored pencils are a wonderful 72 color set, and they are very, very nice. They are very creamy, they lay down beautifully, and again, another set that I use, but not as much as I like. I have a problem. I don't want to use them all up. They're so pretty. So I have a tendency to go back and forth throughout my pencils and try to use them each a little bit at a time. I don't like using multiple types of pencils or brands of pencils on one thing. So I have a tendency to work within what I have going on at the time. Like right now, I'm coloring a lot of work in progresses. So the pencils that I started those work in progresses with were probably pencils that I got in at the time. For example, the one that I was working on yesterday that I actually finished. I started with the square brute pruners when they first came in. So that's what those ones were done in. All right, so the next one, let's see. So we have Derwent, so C's and D's there. So I need this one. This one here holds all of my FaberCastells and just FaberCastells. That's all that's in here. I have the 3 different sets of FaberCastells in here. I have the, let's see which one's which here. So let's start all the way here. So these are the FaberCastell Polychromos. And we've got, of course, the yellows into the oranges, into the reds, pinks, and purples, into more of the deeper purples. Our blues, into our greens, and our lighter greens. As you can see, I use a lot of greens in this set, and a lot of skin tones, lighter skin tones in this set as well. So we go from our greens into our deeper purples and browns, into our lighter skin tones and peach colors, into our red browns, and then into our yellow browns and browns, and then into our grays, blacks, and metallics. And then this one here, I do believe, I gotta figure out if I got the entire thing. I guess I did. Okay, so this one here is a mixture between the FaberCastell from set from China, the 100 set from China, and the FaberCastell 60 set from Europe. So I've got the metallics into the blacks into the grays, into the browns, into the lighter browns, and then into the greens, and then into the aquatic greens and blues, into the blues, and then we've got some purples, and then we've got some pinks, and into our peachy colors, oranges, into the reds and yellows. Now, this is 2 sets all put together. I purchased a set from China, a 100 set, and a lot of people said, okay, I don't know if that's an actual set or if that is a counterfeit. So I purchased the 60 set that everybody was telling me was a actual set and a bona fide, definitely only available, type of thing that was available here in the US. So I bought that set as well. I jumped through hoops after hoops after hoops trying to find out from Faber-Castell if the 100 set from China was a actual Faber-Castell product created for the Asian market. And nobody would give me a straight answer. A friend of mine in Germany actually contacted Faber-Castell there and was actually able to speak to somebody and sent them all of the information that I had sent her. And they actually verified that the Faber-Castell set that is created for the Asian market is a 100 set and does have the corresponding numbers and colors that I have. They do only have numbers on them. They don't have names. If you want to put the name on it, there is a space for that. But they do have color numbers on it, and that's pretty much all that matters to me because I look for the number when I'm looking at a swatch sheet. Unless they don't have numbers, then I look for the name. But it is a bona fide, verified set of pencils. Now, I did find that throughout both sets, there's only approximately 8 or 9 that are the exact same color. So, altogether, it's an entire 160 set, or 150 set, of Faber-Castell Classics. So, and they color very nicely. They are quite smooth. They are a lot firmer than the polychromos, but they are great for details and stuff like that. Things that you can't get into with your softer pencils. So that is my Faber-Castells. And then from Faber-Castells we go into the Fouilly and Flowwood and the Georgion. And I did verify with Faber-Castell that the Giorgio are not a Faber-Castell product, although they do have a similar tin, but they're not a Faber-Castell product. So, this one. We're going backwards here. So, this one here has a lot of Flowwoods in it. So we have the Flowwood 72 set as well as the Flowwood 160 set. Huge amount of pencils for one brand, but I was asked to review them, so I did. And they're lovely pencils. So we have the start here it has 2 different tones of white. As you can see there, number 1 and number 2. And then we've got some peachy pink color into the gold. Now, I followed the thing on the back of the box for these, so they're not in my color family order, but they are in the color family order of the numbers, I do believe. But I think I've mixed up a few numbers here. Yeah, I think I've got a few numbers in places where, okay, that's right. So there's some numbers that are missing in the 72 count set. So I've got them put in here in the number order that was available in the 72 count. So it goes from 2 and then it goes all scrambly everywhere. So we've got some yellows and oranges, browns into the reds, a few pinks, a few greens, a few more browns. So we go from our greens into our blues, into our aquatic blues here. then into some purples, and then into our deeper browns, and then into our grays and blacks. Now, this part here, starting here, is the 160 set. And as you can see, it is a lot more cohesive of the colors that you're looking for. So it goes from our whites into our yellows, into our oranges, into our light browns, into our oranges and light browns, into some deeper browns here. I'm just going to see. They only have color numbers on them, not color names. The color names are on the tin, however. I do believe the tin is over there. I can take a look. It's not been too long since I got them, so I haven't used them a lot. They lay down very nicely. I did have a couple that were a little scratchy, but other than that, they lay down quite nice. But we have our yellows into our oranges, into our deeper oranges and our red browns, into our deeper brown colors, and then into our reds. And then things go a little wonky here where it goes into our grays and blacks. Because I'm going backwards, that's why. So that's why, because we're going from our browns into our grays and blacks, and then into some pinks, and into some reds, and then deep, like skin tone type pinks, peachy colors, into some purple grays, into our reds, into our pinks, into our purples, and then into our greens and our blue greens, and then into some blues. And the final one here is a blue. So it has a bit of a wonky setup, but at least 99% of them are in color family order. So that makes a difference to me. These ones down here are the Jojon, and they are a triangular pencil, and they're quite nice. They are not named or numbered. So I will have to go through when I re-swatch these, because I'm currently re-swatching all of my pencils, and actually number them all. So we've got our, I think this one here is in the wrong place. It should be. And I think I just stuck them in here in the order of which they came out of the box. So we've got our gold into our black, into a blue-gray, a deep gray, and then into our browns, and then into our lighter grays and our lighter browns. So these two here would probably go where those two browns are. And then we have our light browns into our purples, into our reds, into our pinks and peach tones, and then into our blues, and into our greens with our aquatic greens, into our oranges and yellows and white. And that is the Jojon colored pencils. And they are a very nice set of pencils. They are a little bit firmer than, they're not hard, but they are not squishy soft either, if that makes sense. And so that is pencil case number, let's see, 9. No, that's actually, yeah, 9, 10. That's pencil case number 10. The next ones we have the Holbeins, Hueys, and Irrigitan. And this has the 150 Holbeins, starting here, I do believe. Yes. with our peach tones into our yellows, oranges, into our pinks and our reds. So it starts off with reds into pinks, into some of our pastel colors and peachy tones, and some more pinks and purples, into our blues, and then into our greens. These are a lot of the pastel green colors that they had in the set. And then into some more greens. The set has a huge amount of green, which is fantastic. And the pastels are to die for. Into our browns, it has a really good set of light creamy browns, not gray browns, but not brown browns or green browns. So it goes into our green browns and our mustard colors, into our orange browns and our light brown tones, into the deeper red browns, and then into our grays. This pencil here is the white that everybody is, the soft white pencil. I have not used it very much because it is really soft and I don't want to completely ruin it. But now that I can get it open stock, I'm not too worried about it. But we have our browns into our grays, and it has a really good selection of grays as well, into our blacks, our whites, and then our metallics, our 2 silvers, our 2 golds, as well as the 2 bronze kind of colors, bronze and copper. Wonderful, wonderful set of pencils. Very expensive set of pencils, so I don't use them a lot, but I do love the way they color. And I like layering, so I'm not too worried about the layering issue. These are Huey's. Huey's colored pencils is an inexpensive colored pencil. They work very, very nicely, especially on coloring books. And yeah, so they're a 48 set. And of course, we're starting at the end here, which is the blacks into the grays, into the browns, some greens, really, really nice aquatic greens, into the blues, and into the purples, into our pinks, as well as our reds, oranges, peach tones, whites, and yellows. The next set is my Eurogetan colored pencil set, and this is the full 144 set. However, I do have extras in here because I had purchased at one point beforehand a 24 pack that had some tones in it that are repeated in the full 144. I think it's 144, yeah. I'm not quite sure anymore. It's the full set. So I have them separated by box. So this one here would be the final box. Hold on a second, let me grab the boxes here so that I can show you. So this colored pencil set comes in these boxes. So it goes, I think this set here is the last set, the second set, and the first set. So there's pale tones, vivid tones, and deep tones in each set. And I have them separated in that order that is done with each set. So I do believe that this is the set 9. The third set, volume 7, 8, and 9 are in this area. And then the third is in this area. And then this one here is in this area. Wonderful, hard, hard pencil. They do blend really nicely. They are a very firm pencil. So if you want to do hair or anything with really defined lines and defined flicks, these are definitely a great pencil for that. Beautiful colors. They are quite nicely pigmented. They do have a wonderful selection of very pastel pale tones. They do have a really lovely selection of vivid colors, fluorescent type colors, if that's what you're looking for. They have some really nice gray tones and green-gray colors as well. Fantastic set of yellow, orangey, pale orange colors as well. And then it definitely covers all your bright colors as well. And like I said, I have these all separated as per the box. So this entire area is in this area, or the other way around. Yeah, this entire thing is in this area. This entire area will be most of this area into a part of this area here, and then this set here goes into from, let's see, just trying to look and see where it goes from. So from this area on, I think. But I do have them all sorted out in swatch, so it's not hard for me to find them if I have my swatch book out. And I always have my swatch book out, so. And that is the Eero G10. And like I said, they come in these wonderful little books. And you can definitely leave them in these wonderful little books. I have considered it. And I'm slowly running out of room, so I may reconsider it. They do fit in these wonderful little books, and they do have all the color names on the book. And they're just cute. I don't know if I would use them more if they were in their little books or less. But another colored pencil that my husband has purchased me for a present because it was on my wish list. A lot of these my husband buys me because they're on my wish list. And I'm not going to tell him not to because I love them all. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful sets of pencils. The next ones, let's see. Where are we? We're still on F or I, right? So the next ones are this one here. This is a Arteza or Arteza colored pencil case. I'm not overly fond of this case, but it works. So this one has my Indra, my June Gold, and my King Art colored pencils in it. And here is the Indra, as well as the dual pencils from the Indra regulars and the Indra pastels. Wonderful, very, very lovely pencils. These are square barreled, so I can fit 4 to a row because they're square barreled. These ones here are round barreled, so they don't fit as many. And then these ones here are June Gold. June Gold is a mechanical pencil. And what I really like about them, not only are they great for dealing with really, really tiny little areas, but they have their own little sharpener available right on the pencil. Absolutely fantastic. So you can take a pencil, say you have this pencil out, and it's a little dull. Well, this one's not dull, it's actually very sharp. But you can take out another pencil, extend this out a little bit, and put it in the other pencil, and just give it a couple of turns, and it sharpens it up nice and sharp. You can also put the pencil all the way away, so now that sharp point is protected. And you just take it, knock it out. As you can see, there's just a little tiny bit in there. And put this pencil away as well. Wonderful, wonderful idea. Love it. These ones here are the King Art watercolor pencils, I do believe. That's what's here. Yes. So these are the King Art watercolor pencils that I was sent. They are a very nice watercolor pencil. They color very, very nicely. This is the King Art metallic pencil set that I was sent by King Art. And I have reviewed all of these on the channel. The metallic set is very, very pigmented, and it does have a good amount of shine. Now, the King Art pencils I purchased, and they're just lovely. I just love them. I have not used them nearly enough. But like I said, I just got them a little while ago. So we have our blacks into our grays and our browns. They have a really good setup with their color order that is right in the tin. Also, they do have their color name and number on them, which is fantastic. So we go from our browns into our greens, into our blues, and dark purples into our light blues and lighter purples, and then into our reds and pinks, and then into our light oranges and oranges, and then into our yellows and whites. Really good selection. More than enough color variations to do a beautiful job with just this one set. But then you mix it in with your metallic set and possibly some of your watercolors, and it just works out really nicely. All three of these sets are just absolutely wonderful. The Indra set, I also have the regular Indra pencils. They are put away in another area for now until I can find more places to put things because I've run out of bags. Isn't that funny? I have run out of bag space for all of my pencils, so I'm going to have to, at some point, buy new bags. All right, so the next ones, let's see, that goes up to K. The next ones are another one of my favorite sets, and I'm running out of room here, so I'm just going to move some stuff around and take a sip of my coffee. Because, yeah. And we've only got through 2 shelves. These ones are the Naoni, the Magic Fly, and the Lyra. Alright, so let's start at the very start here. And we're going to be starting with the Lyra. So we have our Lyra colored pencils here, and these are the Polycolor colored pencils, and they are just beautiful. I just adore them. So we have our whites into our yellows and our oranges, into our reds and our pinks, into our purples and blues, and then into our lighter blues and greens. They do have their names and numbers on them, so definitely fantastic there. Although I don't think they're in, I may not have them in color order either. I might have put things in the wrong space, because they do seem to be in number order, except for a few that are higgly-piggly everywhere. It's either that or else I don't have all of the numbers, which sometimes they do that, and by the looks of it, I don't have all the numbers, because it goes from like 75 to 80 in this one area here. And I know there isn't. So I have put them in number order the same way that I did the other set, the Flowwood set, which was skipping numbers because they came out with a new set. And Lyra may come out with a larger polycolor set at some point. I apologize for the noise. The train is going by and it might get loud. So we go from our greens into our browns, into our red browns, and then into our grays. I also have a blender here, well, two blenders here. It comes with two blenders. So I also have a set in here that I use once or twice. I've used once or twice. I don't have a problem with these pencils. I did purchase the full master set. This is the master skin tone set that I purchased first to try the pencils out, and they were quite nice. I was really enthusiastic and quite excited to buy the full master set, and the full master set was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It looked like wax crayon, a cheap wax crayon in the laydown. So those went back. However, these ones here do work quite nicely. And by the time I discovered that the full master set was not worth getting, these ones couldn't go back. They were already way past their refundable time. These ones here are the Magic Fly Export Colored Pencils. The original Magic Fly do not have names or numbers on them. So I have put the names and numbers on them myself. And we have our yellows into our oranges and reds, into our pinks and peachy tones, into our deeper pinks and purples, into our deep blues and light blues, into our aquatics and our greens, into our browns, and then into our grays and blacks. This set is the Nione 120 colored pencil set. As you all know, Mark Art has come out with the full 120 set, and I do believe they are the exact same set as the Nione. The 48 set was identical, exactly the same. So we have the blacks into the grays. It has a beautiful selection of grays for a 120 set. Into the browns and the red browns, into the purpley tones, into our dark browns and our golds and copper, well, gold and bronze color. Let's see, what color does this say it is? Because these are named and numbered. So this one is number 59. So they're not named, they're just numbered. I think it's a bronze, if I remember right from the tin. Into our reds and purples, into our deep purples, into our lighter purples and our light aquatic green blues, into our blues, and then into our pale blues and light or pale greens and light greens, into our aquatic green blues, into our darker greens and foliage green colors, into our oranges and light oranges, yellows, pale yellows, into our light pinks and pinks and peaches and cream colors, into our coral colors and coral pinks, into our reds. And for some reason the Nione set starts off with our reds. Not my ideal thing, but I did put these in here exactly the way they are in the box. So because they are only numbered, not named, I just followed the direction that they had them in the box. They are a wonderful pencil. They're really, really soft, really, really smooth, and they just color beautifully. Okay, so that takes us up to N, which is the Naomi. And that has two of our spaces looked at. I do have one more shelf of colored pencil bags to look at, as well as other color pencils to look at. And I do believe that we have been going for quite some time. So, just gonna, yeah, I'm gonna put these back, and so we have been going for over an hour, believe it or not. So I'm gonna put these back, and the next video I will go through some more of the colored pencils, because we're only a third of the way, maybe a third of the way through the colored pencils that I have. And then we'll move on to other things such as markers and watercolor pens and, you know, all those other things that I have as well. This is tiring, guys. I'm running out of oomph here. So just going through and putting all of these wonderful things back in their spaces so that I can get them all back on the shelf. Which is always the fun part. It's like, how do I put this back in there? All right, so now we have gone through of course this one doesn't go back in there, so we'll just do it that way. 13 of the cases of colored pencils. Ay, ay, ay. So I will continue going through all of these things if you want me to. Leave me a message in the About section below on anything else in my collection that you want to see. I'll continue with the colored pencils, and then I'll move on to the coloring books in the next one. And if you still want to see more, then I can move on to the other additional stashed things. Until next time, I want to, of course, say thank you all very much for joining me. I hope that this has been fun for you. I know it's been interesting for me to see all of the things that I don't use on a regular basis, and I should use more of. I'm going to switch you over to the other camera here. Hopefully. All right, so I hope that you can, there, hopefully you guys can hear me now. So, of course, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Tomorrow we will be doing a live stream at 10:30 in the morning, or 10 o'clock in the morning, I should say, for the Julia Sperry Colorathon. So make sure that you join me at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be coloring the image out of this book. And I've already pulled it out. I just got to find it now. I just got to find the spot. I think I keep on going past it. Nope, there it is. So I will be coloring this image out of the Julia Sperry coloring book of An Enchanting World. And of course, there are some wonderful YouTubers that are joining into this wonderful color along or color-a-thon. Before me at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time is True Hue. Her name is Angela, and she's an absolutely fantastic colorist. After me is one of the sponsors or one of the people putting on the color-a-thon, which is Shell Arty, also another fantastic colorist. So on Saturday, we will not be having our live stream, our normal live stream. We're going to do that tomorrow during the color-a-thon. The reason for that is so that you guys can enjoy the color-a-thon. It is scheduled all the way through Saturday, and I don't want you to have to miss any of them because you're sitting chatting with me, because I'm going to be there. That's probably the biggest reason, is because I want to watch everyone. I want to participate too. And of course, I want to give everybody my support as well. So we're not going to be doing the Saturday color and chat. Instead, I am going to be participating and chatting and coloring along with all of the wonderful people that are giving tribute to Julia Sperry in her creations, and putting on this wonderful color-a-thon. There is, of course, a prize for each of the YouTube channels that are doing the color-a-thon. We do have a page to give away that Julia Sperry has provided us with. So, yeah. So hopefully we'll have a giveaway, and we'll have lots of people come hang out and visit and watch me color Julia Sperry. Wonderful picture. If you want to join me and support the channel via the membership, there is all different membership perks that are available. All you have to do is hit that join button below the channel, below the video. It will explain to you all the different tiers and what's available per tier. The biggest way to, of course, support me is to hit that like button on the video, as well as if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, hit that subscribe button as well. Ring the bell. I do put out a video every day except for Sundays. I am live on Wednesdays and Saturdays on a normal occasion. Yeah, and other than that, guys, I want to say thank you all very much for joining me. And of course, I want to remind you to relax, color, and stay safe. I hope you all had a fantastic time and are looking forward to the next trip through the coloring corner and my collection of colored pencils and other coloring instruments and fun things. Until next time, we will see you again tomorrow at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the AM to hang out, color, and chat. All right, guys. Bye-bye for now.